Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Creatures of the Night podcast. This is episode 12, the first episode of the year 2025. Welcome, David. What's going on, buddy?
Welcome, Nachi. How you doing, Narciso? I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's a new year. Hopefully, everyone had a satisfactory holiday, days off, back to the
Yeah,
grind.
a lot of holiday stuff always gets mixed in. It's always hectic at the end of the year, but luckily, all of that is over with, and we get to start afresh now. And we're going to start today with, I guess, fresh off the Golden Globes and right before Oscar season and all that, we're going to go ahead and review The Substance.
That's right. The Substance, the Oscar nominations came out today, coincidentally, not like we
Yeah.
planned it. And The Substance got nominated for three Oscars, three Academy Awards, and three big ones too. Best
Yeah, it isn't effects or some
No, no,
nonsense.
no. Although the effects are really good, we'll
Yeah, of
get into
course.
that. But Demi Moore for best lead, best screenplay, and best
Mhm.
picture, the big
Yeah.
ones. So that's great
She,
for The Substance.
she deserves it too, and it's great for horror in general.
Yeah, so
Seems
The
like
Substance.
horror is little by little getting more respect and moving up the tiers of Hollywood rankings when it comes to like Oscars and award nominations now.
Yeah, I totally agree. Definitely with The Substance being nominated, we will see if I think a horror movie has ever won Best Picture. The closest
Uh,
would be Silence of the Lambs, which is like a thriller, serial
yeah,
thriller, but and then we'll get to it because The Substance is kind of turns into horror, but it's not really a horror movie. It's more like a cautionary tale, like a fucked up version of Death Becomes Her. That's what
the
I was thinking
substance
of.
it, the substance almost feels like a more polished, higher end, early John Carpenter movie to me.
Yeah, it reminded me of that. It reminded me of a lot of things. It feels like a bigger budget indie movie, polished, like a crazy indie movie that we would have seen in some festival when we were younger. I mean, it is a Cannes Film Festival, I believe, winner, and that's how it was purchased.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
And I believe the director, her name is interesting to pronounce. Hold on. Kalari Farjit. And she's
Farjit.
French. She's
Yeah,
French. If you look at
Farjit.
the credits, it's all a lot of French. It definitely feels like a foreign French movie. Definitely feels
I
like
tell you one thing. The one thing that originally caught my attention were the trailers and the form, the way they cut the trailers.
it.
The trailers were cut in a hyper stylized early 2000s
Mhm.
type of editing and quick cuts with a lot of like imposed letterings of like almost flashing, something kind of like They Live, and it had me hooked from there. What's cool, which never really happens, is that the movie itself is also edited just like that in a lot of parts. So
Yeah.
it's almost not to the extreme of, but it's a lot like Run Lola Run in those days, where it's just like quick cuts and things are
Oh yeah.
happening and jumping all over the place. And I think it's great. I mean, I loved it because it's almost it was oversaturated in the 2000s with that style, and it's gone away entirely and kind of like frowned upon. And it's kind of cool to see a movie doing it in the right way and kind of bringing that style, that hyper kinetic style back. I loved it. So
Yes, you're absolutely right. Uh, this the editing, those montages and the commercial, and then the propaganda and the USB drive, all that reminded me of. There's a niche thing, but I think you might remember it. The old trailer for Strange Days, which was him
yes,
pitching the idea, and it would
yeah,
say it, want it with subliminal messages. And we like that stuff. We grew up with, like you said, we grew up with that when we were in college making movies on our own. That was the style. Our movies were very hyperkinetic,
yes, they are.
you know. And you said something that you hit the nail on the head. That kind of editing can be played out and can be overbearing and a little bit condescending, like patronizing, but unless it's done right. And in this movie, it's done right and it's done in the right purpose. Did you notice? Obviously, I'm sure you did. Every time it cut to her other self days, it's all like upbeat music, bam, 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 and the sound was enhanced. Every time she would drink, it would be like everything had a
Yeah, yes.
surreal sound, like it's not quite real. When they would touch her body, it would be like a rubbing. sound, and you could
It's like
feel like almost like
hypersensitive.
her DNA moving and everything.
It's supposed to make you feel like it's the younger body.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
feels everything crisper. It feels everything.
Yeah. Everything is
By the way, I'm
deceptive
sorry. I
better.
apologize right now. If you hear a lot of like chewing toys in the background, it's my puppy. He's going bananas now. So I don't know if you can hear that or not.
No, it's okay. We'll deal with it. And I was surprised. I was hoping it may be nominated for editing because the editing was really good. Because
Super
the
good.
movie did not, it's pretty long. It was not boring at all. It kept me interested all the way. The ending, it gets really ridiculous. That's when it gets a little
We'll
crazy.
get to that ending in a minute, in a little
But
bit.
like I was enjoying it, and then I loved how they cut through the by week, how they would cut with the design of the substance, the way it's done. It's very well done because it almost feels realistic how it would
Mhm.
happen. The design of the little equipment and the little nozzles and the little compartments from every day and how
It
it
almost had like the.
detaches.
It's like they sprinkled in a little bit of Saw.
For real, you think it's all?
When you see like the detailed of like the thought, like they thought ahead of
Oh yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
everything works and how everything is compartmentalized for like different levels that you have to take everything in and the way they zoom in on
Oh, are
stuff.
you
I don't know,
thinking of
it kind of
Hostel?
reminds me.
Hostel or Saw?
No. Saw. Like,
Oh,
you know how in Saw they put somebody in a room and everything is there for a reason. Like you have to
everything.
get out of this
Everything
contraption by
has a purpose.
it's very like mechanicalized. Like I don't even know that's a, the right term, but it's like a very mechanical, thought out system, you know. And it's like creepy, really.
I guess we'll talk about all this stuff, or we'll just start from the beginning. I
I
mean,
say Saw, but it's obviously a lot more hygienic than Saw.
yes,
But
yes. A very clean looking movie,
yeah,
except when it gets nasty. But Demi Moore plays an aging celebrity.
right,
It seems that she's some sort of actress slash TV host of an aerobics class,
right,
famous, long running, kind of like a Richard Simmons kind of deal, or what's her name,
right.
Susan
Farrah
Summers,
Fawcett.
and all that stuff.
Let's
And then
go.
the beginning was really good. How it's a long effect shot of them making her Hall of Fame star.
Oh
Remember,
yeah. That's very
you see them
cool.
building it, dissolves at first,
And
and I
it's
read,
then it
oh,
gets all nasty and old and
yeah,
corroded.
and it works because it's almost like a Robert Zemeckis shot where it's going through months and days and years, and it looks like it's probably like they blue screened in the people so they could add everything,
Yeah,
but it looked pretty good, and I like how it
I mean it's very
starts and it ends with her, and it ends with that too.
it's very symbolic of how
Yeah,
Hollywood uses you until you get to a certain age where they're done with you and
they
they
don't need you.
dispose of you.
Yeah.
And
You're
it's a
not
cool little way to start off, and you kind of get the vibe of what's gonna go on going forward. Yeah.
Yes, and that is definitely personified by the great Dennis Quaid with
The
a great
I love me some
performance.
Dennis Quaid.
It was just the right amount of Dennis Quaid. It was not too much. He's not really a big part of the movie, but he's
No,
like,
he feels like he probably had like a day, and they just like
yeah,
sprinkled him throughout.
and he's like the catalyst basically for her decision to do the extreme just to have people love her. There's a big fixation of I love you and want you and I need you and you're great and you're great and you're great and you're great.
Until you're
And
not great anymore, and
and
you're
then
just
the very first shot of Dennis Quaid is a locked off wide angle shot of the bathroom, and he just walks up right to camera, all like fisheye lens, and he's just taking a piss.
yes.
Ugh. I mean, it's literally like this, and it's him just talking shit that we gotta fire the old girl and bring in some new hot piece of ass and make sure
Right.
she's this, make sure she's that. All the shit that probably gets said,
Yes.
and that's the catalyst for her. She's depressed, distracted, and she gets in a car accident.
Yeah, because she overhears the whole conversation. She's hiding
Yeah.
in the closet.
She's in the bathroom stall
Oh,
when
the
he's taking a
bathroom stall,
piss.
right?
Yeah. She's there. Then it's like different scenarios of showing how she's getting older and they're ripping down her billboard. She's
Right.
distracted by the sight of her being ripped down. She gets into a bad car accident, which is shot really well from the inside. It looks
Mhm.
real. It looks legit.
And
And
that's
then
that's kind of like the MacGuffin
to
that
get
gets the
her,
ball
yeah,
rolling on how she even gets involved with this medication. So
yeah. And I like how this movie that's the indie part of it. It doesn't explain everything. When they
No, it doesn't.
show the orderly, the nurse, the assistant from the get go, I'm like, okay, this felt very Death Becomes Her. Where in Death Becomes Her, which is a movie from the 90s, Meryl Streep plays an aging actress, and she gets
It's very
also
much like that.
pulled
Yes.
into this secret concept where someone recruits her the same way, and then this guy, I guess, feels bad. He feels pity for her when she's crying, and I think he decides, well, I'll help her out, right?
Right.
He he checks her back to see if she's a good candidate, I guess, to see if her spine is good, and then he gives her he shoves in the pocket of her jacket a USB, which she finds later. She plugs it in. She lives in this beautiful like penthouse mansion overlooking, I think it's
Right.
LA, right? Los Angeles.
LA.
What would be fire now. She's overlooking the LA mountain.
Right.
And it's a really cool, clever, short little ad that looks like some sort of YouTube commercial that just basically explains it very primitively with the two egg yolks. I like that how they
Very
visually show you what's happening to your body. That's a
right.
good, smart, subliminal way to get you to know and to get stupid people to figure it out.
Which is funny because one of the I don't know if it was a concept poster or an international one. The poster for the substance is
Egg
just a
yolk.
white poster with two egg yolks, and it says the substance on it.
Yeah.
It's
And
really
I think
cool.
that's actually the first shot is them injecting the egg yolk and it separates,
Yes, right.
right?
It's funny
So,
that you brought up Death Becomes Her because isn't Bruce Willis in that?
yes, he is. Yes, he
Then
is. He's the yeah,
right
yeah.
here.
He's the second lead. This movie,
Mhm.
as it went on, it reminded me of a bunch of things at the end.
Yeah,
But this movie reminded me, I said Death Becomes Her, like a rated R fucked up version of Death Becomes Her, even though they're not dying. Uh it gave me this movie was like a physical version of Fight Club. Because Fight Club, he has two personalities, but in his mind, in this movie,
but
she
they're real. Here, they're
yeah,
real.
it's her. It's her. Her and her other self are it gets to a point like Fight Club when they're one of them is trying to stop the other one from doing something. And the logistics of you can't be the same person at the same time because
It's
you're either
funny
one
how
or the
like
other. That's really
it's
messed
funny
up.
how like when they are split as the film goes along, they start to hate each other and each other's tendencies,
Yeah,
and they start taking up more of each other's time.
yes, that's a
And even
big
though
thing in the movie where she starts stealing her essence and aging her, turning her
yeah,
like rapidly aging her as she sucks her essence from the spinal. There's so much weird shit that's awesome in this movie. So whenever
this
she gets
movie
intrigued,
has this movie is essentially, like you said, it's a little bit of Death Becomes Her. It's a little bit of a trauma movie, which comes towards the end. Okay. And it has little aspects of so many things that you're like, oh yeah, this reminds me of this. This reminds me of this. But in such a clever way that it doesn't come off as a ripoff. It's just kind of
no,
like it's just like little essences that are pulled from other things that you're like, holy crap, that's just like this. That's just like that. And it's like,
yeah, yeah, and it's not even just like it. It just reminds you of the feeling of the movie. It's not like they're copying. And then another movie too. This sounds strange, but in the beginning, not so much toward the end, but the beginning, it gave me a little bit of Vanilla Sky vibes with the weird editing. Remember, Vanilla Sky had these weird
yes,
things where they're
because it's
showing you
another
things and it's
surreal
it's all
film.
symbols. Yeah,
It's
that's
another
a
movie
movie.
that's all like a surreal
That's another movie
life
about
that's happening.
someone changing their life. Yeah, yeah. And also it reminded me, especially in some parts of a Terry Gilliam movie. Reminded me the style of Terry Gilliam.
That's not what I was gonna go with,
What are you
but
gonna
I'm
go
with
with?
you now. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
It reminded me a little Terry Gilliam, with the weird like Brazil with the weird wide angle shots and the long shots and the weird character shots, a little bit of that. Obviously Peter Jackson toward the end.
Okay, I was gonna say early Peter Jackson stuff is all over this. Like you said, first shot of Dennis Quaid, close up of him pissing, just like Dead Alive, with that big fat dude taking a
Yes.
piss. Paquita, and you could
Yes.
hear like his kidney stones hitting the toilet.
Yeah, the guy that's sucking that air the whole movie.
Dennis Quaid sucking on shrimps.
Oh God, yeah. He's
Oh, the
obviously they're
close
making
ups.
him a big disgusting Harvey Weinstein type of guy.
Oh yeah,
Every time
totally.
the girls, there's a part where a bunch of the New Year's Eve party, a bunch of girls walk by with feathers, and he's like, "Woo, feathers,
And
feathers, feathers," and he's
he's
checking
got that
out their
little
asses.
clan of like producers with him, and they're all like, "Ooh," they're just like.
In the very beginning, they've used. Did you notice the Shining hallway was blatantly The Shining?
Yep.
The same carpet, the
Same
same
carpet,
color on the
the
walls.
orange.
And
Yep.
then when she went into the bathroom was just like the bathroom in The Shining when he meets the ghost butler guy.
That's why this film is filled with a lot of nods and like
Oh, a lot of
similarities to
nods to
so
that.
many things.
You
It's
could
like,
tell
but
that
it's well done.
the director, she was born in 76, so she's a little bit older than us. So
Two
she
years
has
on
the
me.
same feelings. And then did you notice, even we're cutting to the end, but the big grotesque figure at the end kind of looked like the old
The fly,
well
Grundlefly, kind of.
well not the last one, when Demi Moore is old, really old. She
Oh,
still had hair, but toward the end
you know,
she's really old.
are you gonna say
She
what I'm
looked
gonna say?
she
She
looked
looks
like a
identical to Angelica Houston in The
on
Witches.
Witches. She does. And she also looks like the yeah, she does look like the Angelica Houston in Witches, except without the big nose. She kind of looked like the oh my God, I forgot what I was gonna say. She kind of
And
looked like the gross dead woman in The Shining that comes out of the bathtub,
oh, in the bathtub, yeah, kind of, yeah,
all rotten from behind and everything. The
yeah.
final
Oh,
beast,
bad look.
the conglomerate of all of them, all four of them together, that looked like the thing from 300. Yes, master.
Yeah, that's the ultimate
The
version.
traitor from 300. All right.
Yeah.
So long story short, she gets intrigued. She does it. She gets a secret. She makes a secret. She makes a phone call. She gets an address. She gets like a safety deposit box, which she accesses with a key card with her number. So I'm guessing
Right.
she's the 503rd person to have it.
Yes.
If you think how many people in Hollywood have it or rich people have it.
Well, how many lock boxes are in that room alone?
Exactly. Now, they didn't talk about it, but I'm assuming there's money exchange. They never talk about how she's paying for it, if it's free, like a drug. Did you notice that? They never talk about payment.
No, it's one of those details that you said makes it feel like a indie film where it's like they don't need to show you every detail.
Yeah. They
They
don't need to do
the
that.
audience. You just figure it out. They pay for it somehow. Or
In fact,
maybe
I just thought of it right now that she doesn't pay for it, but maybe they pay for it at the end. Maybe you pay with your life. Maybe it's some sort of experiment to see what you do. You know, maybe they're monitoring you. Who knows? There's so many things
who
you can.
knows?
So whatever, she decides to do it. Now let's get to the chase. The very gruesome, the close-ups of everything all the time when she has to stitch her back. That's like a long 2-minute scene. I'm like, they're gonna show the whole thing, and they did. Those close-ups of that flesh look so real. What did they use?
And the spine.
It bent. It looked juicy. It looked really good. And talk about nudity up the ass.
Oh yeah,
So much nudity on
butt
Demi
booty
Moore's
naked all
side.
day long.
And let's not talk about we haven't talked about the girl, Margaret Qualley. She does really good too.
She's
Aside
fantastic.
from her looking great.
Oh, she's great.
Good too. And the gratuitous shots of her just taking a shower, feeling her ass up. I've never seen so many shots of a girl's ass in a movie that wasn't a porno.
They could only get away with that now with a woman director.
Yes.
Like I'm sure they felt very comfortable to do such. Even for Demi, I mean, even she said it. Like Demi Moore, it's like she wasn't comfortable being actually naked herself.
I can imagine.
But they made it so that she felt comfortable to do so because I was like, damn, she's actually. It looks like it's her.
No,
it's her on camera. Yeah, it's her.
I believe it's her. They said it's her. I doubt they would spend any money on faking that when they didn't need to.
No.
And
Did
you know
that,
she's 60. She looks great for 60 something.
She looks fantastic.
She's just
for sure.
not a young woman anymore. But and the Demi Moore, like the other girl gets a lot of nudity too, but it's glamorous and sexy most of the time. Demi Moore has to
just down and dirty.
Demi Moore has to be on the floor, showing everything from every position. For a majority of the movie, she's naked.
Yeah, it's rough for sure.
I wonder if they did all the floor scenes at once and got it out the way. You know, all the naked stuff first to get it out the way.
Who knows?
And she didn't have to worry about eating right and everything, you know. But anyway, when it happens, I was interested in everything. Okay, she comes out of her. What I love, which they don't say in the trailer, which is a big part of the movie, is that you got to take care of the other fucking body while you're there. It's a
Yeah, it's
responsibility.
unconscious, just laying there.
Yeah, because it's you. So you have to keep the body alive so you can
And
go
feed
back
it.
to it.
You have
And
to
they have,
feed it.
yes, they have little packets of like RoboCop food, little baby food that's in these little containers with a timer that slowly oozes out day by day. You have to keep yourself like boosted with the what they call it active no no activators to start. Then it was the other one, recharge, re
Yeah, which they pull out of the spinal area
she has
of
to
the other
take
body.
yeah, you're whichever one you are, the new version of you, the other you has to pull spinal fluid from the Matrix, your original version, they call it.
Yes, yes.
And every day you have to like boost yourself. And after 7 days, you have to go back. They don't
You have to go
explain
back.
why, but there's a loophole that it's just to be safe because your
Right.
other
They don't
body
tell
has
you
to
what
recharge.
happens.
It's like back and forth like a battery. So the other self, she comes out, she's beautiful, everything is great. She ends up auditioning for Demi Moore's old job and gets it.
Right. Right.
She's so mesmerizing that everyone just lets her do whatever she wants. That covers up how she can only do it one week, 1 week off, 1 week on. He
Because she
agrees
has
to
to
her
take care
contract.
of her
She
mom
lies
out
about
of
it. Yeah.
town.
Then the movie shows you what she does for that whole week. Slowly, it gets faster and faster as the movie goes by. I love how when it goes back to Demi Moore that first week, she's so like depressed to be back that she just stays in her apartment the whole week, waiting,
Binge eating, right?
binge eating just to go back. Boom. But the movie does hint that there are repercussions to what you do. We get that through the phone call guy that they call every once in a while for advice. They never show
Right.
him, never explain him. He just gives them like vague tips, you know?
Yes. Very
So
vague.
yeah. So now another thing I want to run by you. Obviously, they both know what they did because they're taking care of each other, but they don't share memories, right? Because when she wakes up 7 weeks, 7 days later, and they look at the apartment, it's almost like she doesn't remember what she did, right? They have
Yeah, it's almost
independent
like
memories. They have independent memories and then shared memories.
yeah, they don't go into the nuances on
Yeah,
how the system works, but it's evident that as the time goes by, it's almost like the other one has a blackout.
yeah. It's like Fight
But
Club,
yet,
like Fight Club, where he blacks
yeah,
out,
but it's
he
it's
wakes
it's
up.
weird because it's still their consciousness is being popped in and out from one body to the other. But I
Yeah,
guess it's almost like when even though it's you when you're in the new body, you start to make a separate personality with
yeah,
no attachment to your previous, but
yeah,
yet you're the same core person. It's super weird, but
yeah, 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 yeah. No, I
it's a
agree with
crazy
you.
cool idea.
I think it's similar to what you said. I think it's like a blackout, or like even if you have the memories, you can't recall them right away. It's foggy,
It's
you
like
know?
if you're blackout drunk,
Yeah,
you don't you turn into another person and you can barely remember what you did the following day.
oh no, you don't remember. It's stored
That's
in your
kind of like
memory. It's stored in your memory like you did everything fine, but you don't remember it. Yeah, yeah.
right.
Yeah, I looked all that stuff up before from back in the day with bad times in college, but basically your brain gets overloaded with alcohol and it shuts down memory to continue. It shuts down things in order
It
to
can't
survive.
process
Yeah, yeah.
all
It
other stuff.
prioritizes stuff and it shuts off memory so that you just don't fucking die. Anyway,
Right.
but but we're talking about that shared experience. It's almost like a clone. It's almost like you cloned yourself and it's just hanging around you. But the clone looks different, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
I
But at the end of the
wonder if this was a $200 million movie, would if they have CG'd a young Demi Moore? They probably would have if this was a Hollywood movie. They would have just made a young version of her. But then it ruins the plot because then they would know it's her.
yeah,
That's
it
the
doesn't
thing.
make sense for
That's the
that
thing.
plot. Yeah.
No one knows it's her. It's not like she's just younger. She's a totally different person. She can start over. It's like a new life,
Mhm. Right.
you know?
So then as the film goes on, greed starts to take place and the younger one starts to get bigger and bigger as her ego gets bigger and bigger.
Who wants to
Demi
be
Moore,
her
Demi
longer.
Moore
Her name
gets
is
more
Sue.
and more like depressed and like angry towards the younger one. And the younger one starts stealing extra time as the young one before coming back to be with the one that she's now despising to go back to the old body.
It's a
And
horrible curse if you think about it, because you're not even in your initial self who wanted it is not even enjoying it. It's your other
no,
self that's enjoying it. It's really a curse. It's like
it's
be
a
careful
fucked
what
up
you
plot.
wish for. It's like a
Right.
fucked up one of those fucked up parables you tell your kids, but like a really fucked up one.
Yeah. And what the cool mechanism that they built into the plot is the more time you steal from your original Matrix, the more you age it like times 10.
Yeah, she
So
looks like a freaking zombie, like a
the
old
first time she
decrepit
takes a little
finger
bit of the first time she takes a little bit of extra time,
to have
it's her
sex with the
finger.
motorcycle dude.
She has sex with the motorcycle dude and stays extra with him by like a week or something. When she goes back to Demi Moore's body, it's her finger, right?
Yeah, it's
Her
just
hand.
her finger, all it's a portion of her finger down to a part of her hand. It's like half her body. Half her
It
body.
almost looks like it's burnt, but it's just old
No, it's
compared
old
to
with
the
a
rest of her body.
long, raggedy nail. They keep doing the
It's
close
like
up of the
rotten.
nail.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Long old nail. It's all rotted. So she has to start wearing a glove to cover it. And that's the beginning and the precursor of what's to come going
Yeah, she
forward.
starts
Because
becoming like a monster, kind of like Frankenstein, Darkman.
then you learn when she is the younger version that she hates this one because whenever she's in her young body running the TV show and living the glamorous life, she's like binge eating in the house like a like a like one of these
Like the lady in Requiem for a Dream. She was like that crazy lady in Requiem for a Dream.
yeah, like
It
they don't
reminded
leave
me
the
of
house
this.
and they just order in and like
A shut-in, one of those like cat 3,000 pound ladies.
yeah,
Agoraphobic,
yeah. So
scared of
every time
going
she
out.
gets back to the apartment, there's fast food shit
Leave
everywhere. It's
trash in the
disgusting.
apartment.
Oh god, it's gross. So it's now becoming like
A
two
roommate,
monsters,
a fucked
two
up
monsters
roommate.
in one.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Demi Moore gets more and more and more. First, she starts realizing it. She calls the hotline, and the guy's, she keeps saying she, and he reminds her, she's not she, she's you.
It's
Whatever you
you.
take from one side goes away from the other. So you have to be more careful. And she's like, how do
Yeah.
I tell her? How do I tell her that? And he just says, nothing, do what you have to do. Boom. And there's nothing you can do. It's like being an alcoholic. Like you take that one drink and you're out of control, and the next day you're like, what
Yeah.
did I do that? Why did I do that? So it's like it's really cool. It's very layered. And then Demi Moore is bombarded with her fame because her apartment faces a giant billboard that used to be her. Now it's her. Let's call it the young version is called Sue. So it's Sue
Right.
now. So she starts she I think she throws like eggs. She starts throwing eggs, and she paper maches the entire window to cover it.
Yeah, she starts to become
Destroys the
a
apartment.
shut-in,
At
you know?
first, and then there's some fucked up dreams. They both have fucked up dreams. There's
Yeah.
one dream that Sue has when she's having sex with the dude that he unzips her with that sexy dress, and like all her intestines spill out.
Yeah.
Then she has
So
another
gross.
dream. I don't know if it was a dream or not during the show. She had a giant lump and she pushes it out and it's a chicken bone. I thought
Yeah.
that Demi Moore is able to eat things and it was going to make her gain weight. But
Okay.
obviously it doesn't because it's a different body. So that wouldn't work. But that was a dream, right? The chicken bone, the
It
David
has to
Cronenberg
be. It
stuff.
has to be because they would have made they build up the tension so much that they're gonna see it in camera and they go back and they're like, let's review the tape. And they built the shit out of the tension because she's freaking out, like, oh my God, oh my, and she runs out. And then they never really say, but I assume
I
that it
thought
was
yeah, I thought that she was gonna think they saw the bump, but it was they saw her vagina and they had to reshoot it. Because they were looking at the shot and it was all her ass. I thought they were looking to see if there was like a slip. It's a TV show. So maybe if
yeah,
it was like a hair slip or a lip slip. I thought
yeah,
that
yeah.
was it. Oh, we got some beaver, we gotta do it again. They never went
But
back to that, right?
this is this is like the part of death becomes her that they really that you start to get the vibes from, except worse because it's just grotesque. Like it's so realistically gross
Yeah, it's
and
gross.
in your
It's
face.
not visual effects cool like the other one was.
And sometimes, like you said, like that shot, I still am not sure. They leave it up to you whether that did they see that for real or was that in her head. and maybe she just fucked up the shot or whatever, and
I
they
think it
just
was in her
felt like,
head because she wakes up after that. She
yeah,
wakes up and
they
it's the
never
beginning of the next, but it's one of those movies that you're not sure
they
what
never hold your
turn it is.
hand and explain it for the audience. It's
Oh,
how you want to take it, I guess. I don't know, which I kind of dig because it makes the movie that more fucked up and dark, and like your mind just is like,
yeah.
I don't know if that happened or not.
They do. I like when movies do it this way, where they do explain it. It's not like you don't know what's going on. They explain it, but they don't,
Only enough.
like you said, but they don't like remember this, remember this. Once in a
Right.
while, they'll do that. You could tell that was
Yes.
an editing thing. They'll do like a flash of text saying, "Remember, you are one." I guess for the idiots toward the end that are not getting it, that looks like
Very,
something they added for the idiots. But
and that's some of that Fight Club in this film where they start like subliminally
oh yeah,
showing
there's a lot of the
you
Fight
shit
Club
where you're like,
stuff. Yeah, yeah,
ah.
yeah. Remind me of Fight
my,
Club too. But look, let me see.
my favorite character in the movie is Dennis Quaid though.
Oh, he's
Whenever
great.
Dennis Quaid shows up, he steals the fucking movie for me. Like he's so funny, disgusting, and like perverted, and he hams it up so well. You know that he wasn't the person they originally casted. They casted this movie in 2022, and it was Ray Liotta.
Oh, he died before they filmed it, or while they
He
were.
died right before they filmed it.
Oh,
Ray
that would have
Liotta
been
was going to be
interesting.
that. He would have been good too, though.
He
I
would
think he
have
would
been
have been
good
pretty
too.
good too.
He would have been good too. You know what you're talking about? When you hit 50, it's over.
And he had that intense look with his green eyes. He probably would have been just as good. But I think Dennis Quaid
Uh,
killed. Oh my god, I loved Dennis Quaid in this movie so much, and
no, he's
I'm
good.
glad to see.
He looks like he would be one of these movie producers.
Oh, he looks like he has known many of those movie producers. So
Oh,
he
I'm
was
pretty
just,
sure he's
oh,
copying
I know
people.
exactly what to do.
And Dennis Quaid just naturally has that kind of like smiley, mischievous face that you
Oh yeah,
can't,
yeah, yeah,
he always has that. He has that face that he always looks like he's bullshitting you.
yeah.
So,
Definitely.
in fact, the only movie I think he doesn't really smile much is when he played the football player Any Given Sunday when he played
Any
Dan
given
Marino.
Sunday,
Yeah, he was like the Dan Marino. Yeah.
he was just like the Dan Marino. Yeah.
I think that it was definitely copying that because it was right when he was about to retire too, 99
Oh
when
yeah, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
they shot it in Miami. They
Yeah, you
shot
were in
with a
it. You
lot
were
of
in it.
Dolphin players in the time there and stuff. So yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what they were doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, our co-host here was actually in the movie. You were in the
I
crowd at
I
the
was an
Miami
extra
Orange
back in
Bowl.
my second life as a actor. Yeah.
Yes, yes, that it was in a couple movies that year and Harrison Ford movie too.
Random Hearts.
Oh, I'm trying to write down yeah, I love the long takes. This movie has everything. It has quick cuts when he needs it. It's got long, weird takes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's got a good progression of time. Like they do the shots good that are not boring, showing like
Oh no, the movie is very well paced, and
and
it
it's
gets
repetitive.
you.
It's I mean, think
Yeah,
about it.
whenever there's a film, not like Groundhog's Day, but whenever there's a film where there has to be a repetitive nature to certain things that happen in the movie, it could either work or totally get you off of the film and not want to keep on. Not in this one, not at all, because I feel like every phase of the film as it goes on, it gets just elevated, elevated,
Yes.
elevated till the grand finale, and the grand finale is
Like Carrie, it reminded me of Carrie. It reminded me of the end of
it's like if this Carrie was made by
the
Lloyd
werewolf
Kaufman
movie.
and it became a trauma movie because it was just like gross effects. It almost feels like it starts as an art house film and ends like a trauma film.
Yes. It
I
ends
mean,
like
that's the best way I can explain it.
total B movie,
Oh yeah.
crazy shit. Like what the
Sometimes
hell?
C tier movie, it just goes and shows you anything. It doesn't care. It shows you hanging deformed titties, shit spewing.
But I was on board because
I'm like, oh my god.
when it got to the point where I thought it was the end, when Demi Moore is ridiculously old and she's beating the oh my god, that scene when she's smashing her face in the mirror, where it goes from real to like a puppet in a
Yeah,
shot and then back to real. I thought the movie was gonna end there. And I was like, no, I want to see the New Year's Eve. I know something's gonna happen. I want her to freak out on New Year's Eve.
that's the grand finale.
Kind of like the movie The Howling, when the news reporter turns into the werewolf on camera.
Yeah.
And when it kept going, I'm like, yes, yes, something's gonna happen on New Year's Eve. Yes.
So let's just
The only thing that sucks, I wish it was like, it was a money thing. I wish it was like live on Times Square televised. I wish it was grander, but that was a money thing. You know, I wish it
It
was.
was a
I
thing.
wish like everyone was watching it on TV, and it just like fucked the world up. Like, what the hell?
I mean, it was a money thing, but also like we're saying the plot in reality makes not a whole hell of a lot of sense because nowadays an aerobics instructor would not be to the level of hierarchy of celebrities that would be hosting the equivalent of like an Oscars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that could have been a rewrite to make it cheaper instead of her being an actress and have to do a movie
I
set.
who knows? Who
You know what
knows?
I mean?
But you just accept it because the movie is so surreal that in this
Yeah, yeah,
world
yeah,
you
yeah.
believe it. You believe it. But
My rule is after the movie's over or the next day, if I think of a plot hole, that means the movie worked. If I think of it during the movie, then it's not working. That means I'm not into it. So I'm
right,
analyzing it.
if the movie's still in your head a day or two, it did its job.
No,
It's
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
stuck in
I
you.
I finished it. I watched a piece and then I finished the very end late last night. And I couldn't even go to sleep. I was like, oh my God, what the hell did I just watch?
I remember I texted you and I was like, "Hey, if you haven't seen it, watch
Oh
it
yeah,
ASAP because we need to talk about this movie."
oh yeah. You're the one that put it on the radar for me when we went to see Terrifier in October. You showed me
Yeah,
the trailer while we were waiting in line.
that's right.
It
That's
was
right.
on my mind, and then the buzz came in, and I was like, oh, I got to see that movie. I heard really good reviews, and then when you saw it and liked it, I was like, okay, I definitely got to see it because one, we're probably gonna do a show on it, and two, we like similar things. Not all the
Right.
time, but
Well, most of the time.
we watch a lot of stuff. So if you text me something, that usually means you liked it, not just I'll tell him later. So
Right. So
so
let's
then
just recap the story towards the end now
yeah.
before
So
we
like you
start
said,
getting into the end.
every week that goes by, the plot thickens. She starts interacting with her neighbor, so now there's another person looking for her on the weeks she doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
They have the other person, well, first on the floor, and then young Sue makes like a whole chamber, secret chamber. She spends a week creating this whole false door
Taking out
to
holes
hide
in
the
the
body
hallway and
there.
stuff.
So I knew that was gonna come up. And then now Sue gets so famous now that there's a scene where you think she's gonna get fired, but she's actually getting another job where she's gonna host the New Year's Eve show, like
Seacrest.
Ryan Seacrest style. So I'm like, oh, here we go. January 1st is gonna land on a day that's Demi Moore, and she's gonna freak out. Even worse, she decides, you know what? Fuck you. I'm
She
gonna.
went on a
Hey,
binge.
she keeps taking a little bit, and she ends up doing 3 months.
Pus is already taking out bloody pus from her
She's
back.
rotted. The point of insertion, it looks like a giant cyst of
Oh yeah, so
chunky,
bad. Oh,
rotten zombie infection. So she starts basically stealing Demi Moore's time.
which by the way, these two characters have an enormous threshold for pain. Okay, because every time Demi Moore gets up, yeah, she looks like her back hurts and shit. But I mean, my God,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the movie. That's the movie. I mean, her whole back got sliced open
yeah,
without any antibiotics. I'm pretty sure she's
and
all
stitched with
infected in a
what
week. But
thread
whatever,
from the
it's a
house.
movie. I mean, we're talking about a movie where eggs separate, so it's fantasy.
Right.
So whatever, it gets to a point where it's like the day before New Year's Eve. She basically has abandoned Demi Moore to die because she
But
can't get
now she's getting to
herself.
the point where she's shutting down. She has to go back or she's gonna die.
Yeah, Demi Moore has to. Yeah, yeah. So, throughout the movie, find out, she's basically she can't live without Demi Moore, and Demi Moore can't live without her. So Demi Moore's body is basically aging and dying. So she starts to transform. She starts to deteriorate. Uh, actually, New Year's Eve, the night of the show, right when she's getting ready,
Mm-hmm.
she starts to nosebleed and get dizzy. She runs into the bathroom, and then it gets totally David Cronenberg, The Fly. Dude,
Oh
all
yeah,
that
yeah. The
stuff was
body horror
great.
stuff is on full effect. Yeah.
And I was fully in her shoes. I wanted her to fall apart because she's such a horrible character. But at the same time, I was like, holy shit, what do you do in that situation? You're fucked. You're going to be on live TV based on your beauty and you're starting to fall apart. I
Teeth, her
love how she
teeth start
fell
falling
out
off
and she just, I love when
like
she just
Grundlefly.
smiled. Yes.
But you see how the Grundlefly stuff starts to come in play? She's
And then it
ripping out
happened.
her teeth
Dude, there's shots. I call them the Ren and Stimpy close-up shots. Remember Ren and Stimpy would go into these cut-ins? They have this
Horse and
close-up of her
hairs.
fake puppet mouth. Looks great. The close-up,
Ugh.
everything looked great. All her all her teeth in the front come off and she smiles. It's so great. She's trying to hide it. She bumps into Dennis Quaid. Oh yeah, forget her teeth. Her ear falls off.
Falls off. Yeah. Just like Grundlefly, remember?
Yeah.
Takes it off.
His body parts and yeah. I was expecting her to vomit. She does vomit, but I was expecting her to vomit chunks, just like Jeff Goldblum. She
Yeah.
freaks out. She runs all the way back to her apartment to try to get one last juice from her.
Oh.
And,
Yeah.
and there's none left. So she's about to give up, and then she realizes that she still has the activator. So she decides to start from the beginning and now copy her new
You're
self.
a third person.
Yeah, it reminded me of Multiplicity. Like, I'm like, oh, it's gonna get worse and worse. So, the warning signs, they show you that do not use, do not da da da. So I guess she multiplies herself again and again, and the shot of the 4 pupils in her eye is great.
Mm-hmm.
So her new form comes out of her newer body, and it's just a big fucking mess. It looks like Fly when he comes out of the pod and he's half Fly, half Brendel. She's just a mutated mess, and she's got like 3 other versions of her connected.
The faces are coming out.
Demi Moore, looking Demi Moore in the back. It reminded me of Alien Resurrection, when what's her face was like that clone.
Yes.
Demi
Moore's
behind her, like full face added in,
and like she's like moving around.
Then she has eyes on her head and eyes on her shoulder, like Evil Dead with the eyeball on the shoulder. Not Evil Dead, Army of Darkness. And she's already mentally fucked over at this point. She puts on a pretty dress. She puts on her makeup. She sticks a picture, her painting, on her face, glues it.
A paper cutout.
It just goes to the New Year's Eve show. This is the part where, okay, it takes
unrealistic how she got into that building.
She gets in there without nobody noticing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because before, everybody was on her ass. Where are you? Where are you? You got to be here. You got to be here. And then at the end, it's like she just walks in noticeably different. Whatever.
Not only that, the whole production is already starting and she's not even there. They would not even start. They would be like, wait, where the hell is she? But
they were waiting for her to do the rehearsal. Yeah, when she showed up.
Believability here.
When she showed up initially, it was empty. The dream, I thought that there was nobody there. That she was just going to stand there by herself, and die. But whatever, she goes there. She thanks everyone for being there. She does a wonderful show.
Well, she thanks everybody, but if you could even understand what she's saying, it sounds like a monster.
Then a titty, right? A breast comes out of her eyeball.
Yes, yeah.
And her whole body just starts oozing out. Then she goes full Kill Bill, and she starts spraying blood across the entire audience.
That's when it turns into a complete shit show trauma / Peter Jackson Dead Alive shit.
I don't even know if the human body has that much blood, but it goes all over, and that's where the movie ends. It's like a dissolve montage of everyone like caring.
It's like a fucked up musical.
Yeah, it reminded me of that scene from I think the second Problem Child movie when they start throwing up on the ride and everyone's throwing up on each other.
Oh no, that's
The
Sandlot.
Yeah, but
the Sandlot.
The Sandlot does that, and Problem Child 2 does it too. He cranks
and
up
there's also a Mr. Bean skit kind of like that, but with
Mr.
Baby.
Bean? But they don't show
Baby. Yeah, there's one where he's on the fair ride and there's a diaper of shit and they're throwing it and it hits everybody.
Yes, and there's another one where he's sitting in an airplane with a little boy and the boy barfs in the barf bag, and Mr. Bean thinks he's gonna pop it like an air balloon, and then they cut right before
he does it. Yeah.
I used to love Mr. Bean.
But it turns into an absolute gross out shit show at the end, and then it ends with her running out of the studio, and she goes to her star on the Walk of Fame, right?
Yeah. She gets out there. She starts wandering Hollywood Boulevard, walking in the street, and then she collapses on the floor and explodes.
Explodes everywhere.
And I think that's the biggest CG shot in the movie. The end when that that blob with her face is crawling. It
Yeah,
reminded
yeah,
me of
yeah.
the Frighteners. Remember at the end,
Could you hear him going nuts?
I heard like a little growl. That's it.
Okay, because he's going bananas over
No,
there.
it works good with what we're talking about.
Okay,
Do you remember the Frighteners?
of course.
There's a part where he grabs the bad guy, Jake Busey. He's like all oil slime, and he rips his head off and he throws it against the wall. Right before he dies, it slides
Oh
down,
yeah, yeah,
just his
yeah.
face. Yeah, that looked pretty good. And you see the little, it looks like a little blob, like a little amoeba, like a loop.
Yes.
It's just her face. There's an overhead shot, just like the first shot of the star, and then she just like stays there.
And it
She
like
looks up and she's like in ecstasy, and she starts seeing stars and hallucinating, and she made it. She finally
yeah,
made
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then she just like bubbles away like T1000 and melts
Drains, like almost
just
drains into the cracks or
and down to
whatever.
the
Like,
crack, and then it goes into like the next day, and it's a giant dry pool of blood. Then a street sweeper comes and
in one shot, it's amazing. It's
yeah,
a super cool shot.
comes
Yeah.
in. I thought someone was gonna run her over for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I
No,
knew
but
I
she's on
thought
the
something.
sidewalk, so it wouldn't make
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, you're right. But I thought somebody was like a bicycle was gonna go over her or something. But then somebody would have noticed the face.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's funny because if you watch the movie, well, I didn't watch it again, but now thinking about it, the opening shot, the guy drops the cheeseburger right on the sign, and it
Yeah.
leaves the same mark of blood. The red ketchup mark mirrors her mark at the end.
Mm-hmm. Like I
Comes
think
in,
we've said this. I think we've said this in a previous podcast about some other film or whatever, but it feels like a elongated Tales from the Crypt episode.
yeah, yeah.
It was. I mean, I knew what I was getting into when I went to see it, but it went further than I thought.
You saw it in the
was
theater? You saw it in the
No, no,
theater?
I saw it. No, no, I didn't see it.
It also reminded me of that final episode of Tales from the Dark, not Creep Show with the cockroach guy in the apartment. It had a vibe of that too. All this, her stuck in the apartment, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And you think about it, this movie has what? Her apartment is the main location.
The studio,
Yeah, the studio slash
and where
office,
she
the
gets
hallway,
the stuff that white room.
and
I
then
think
and then that,
the exteriors are literally her walking down the street every time she has to get to the
yeah.
to the location, or the Walk of Fame. Not much else.
No, I
Everything
think
else
that
is indoor stuff.
the Walk of Fame is only that shot. It's all fake. I don't think
At
they're
the beginning
actually
of the
there.
movie and at the end, close-ups. That's it.
It's shots of her walking down the road. They probably use the same road with Sue and her, just film it differently with the palm trees. Yeah, the public storage shithole that she gets the stuff.
Right.
The set of the aerobics show, a couple restaurants.
Oh, and the
That's it.
diner. Yeah, the diner scene.
The diner, the restaurant, whatever. There's probably the same room for the New Year's Eve. It's probably one of the same sound stages, and that's it.
Yeah.
That movie
Yeah,
could
yeah.
have been made for a couple million, probably.
Oh,
Under
I'm
10
sure.
million. Yeah, Demi Moore
But-
probably took a pay cut to be in it. She probably
Yeah, it
got
was like
obviously paid the
this is kind of
most.
like her big comeback. Really.
Yeah, I hope so. Demi Moore probably got the most, obviously, but not what she was used to getting. Probably nothing like before, but a
Oh
chunk.
no, but she hasn't worked in a while either.
Exactly. No, she hasn't done a movie. Oof, I would say like, dude, close to like 20 years. Then the last
Yeah.
movie she was in was that movie that Emilio Estevez directed, Bobby. It was about Bobby Kennedy assassination in the hotel.
Oh, I don't think I saw that one.
That movie's good. It's like a bunch of stories of characters all in the hotel, and they coincide with his assassination. It's one of those movies, and it's like different little
Interesting.
stories. And Demi Moore plays an aging actress, an aging politician's wife in the movie. She's like an aging politician's wife, and she can't handle it, and she's getting old, and this and that.
Speaking of that, Trump today released he signed the paperwork. They have to release all the information on the assassination on JFK, Bobby, and Martin Luther King. So this should be interesting. Let's see if anything actually comes out now.
If it goes through, great. It's about fucking time. It's been 60 years.
Shit. I think they had to wait till most people involved were already deceased.
Yes.
I think that's why,
Trust me.
from what I've seen here and there. But let's see. I'm interested regardless. So
Since I was a kid, I was obsessed with the JFK assassination. I watched JFK in the movie theater when I
Oh,
was
I know. You used to always be obsessed with that
I
movie.
saw
Yeah.
that many times, and my dad was into it too. My dad bought me Jim Carrey, the actual book that the movie was based on by the real Kevin Costner, Jim Garrison, the attorney. So yeah, when JFK came out, it was so successful and it brought all the buzz that the House Select Committee actually did a new investigation, and they said that the documents will be released in the year 2027. So that's what Trump is trying to override
Well, he already did. He
early.
signed it today. It was signed today. And actually, after he signed everything, he told them take the pen that he signed it with and go give it to RFK,
Oh, for
like for
real?
him to keep it. It's pretty cool. Let's see what happens. I'm
I was about to
interested.
say, I thought he was gonna say go throw it off a bridge and drown it in the river like Ted. Error. Oh, it was an accident. I tried to save the pen. But but that'll be interesting. We'll see. Yeah, of course they do it on purpose. So by the time it comes out, they can't prosecute anybody.
No,
Time
they're
has
all dead.
passed. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh well." Same thing with MLK one.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah. It was all that same time
I mean,
period too.
the Bobby Kennedy one is pretty legit because it was in front of everybody. So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Sirhan, he admitted to it. That one probably is not that much. Didn't they release him from prison? Sirhan got released like last year, or he was
Did
up
he?
for probation.
I don't know.
Yeah. I remember hearing it on the news. And what's his face also too, I think was released from prison. The guy who shot Ronald
Reagan.
Hinckley. He has a YouTube channel. He's a musician. He does music. He films himself doing songs and people
Oh
fucking
my God. Are you serious?
yes. They were talking about Howard Stern. They were playing his songs. I actually found him on YouTube and I watched a few of them. He's an old man now. It's
That's
crazy,
crazy.
dude. 50 years go
Fucking
by and then
crazy.
everything's okay. It doesn't matter you try to kill the president. It's okay. And he did kill that other guy. The guy he shot in the head eventually died.
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
Brady died.
Yep. But then
He got
again,
charged with murder like 30 years later when he died.
and now he gets to live his best life being a YouTube musician.
Hey man, America.
Oh my
Make
God.
America great again. We got John Hinckley's
Oh
back.
Jesus.
So then yeah, it's a very happy fairy tale happy ending. I was
Tell you one thing.
satisfied with the ending. I really liked the movie. It was really good. So I'm really happy I saw it. Yeah.
So
So yeah, I mean overall I really liked it. It was great. I hope I don't think it's gonna win Best Picture. Not because I don't think it's worth it. There's been a lot of shit Best Picture movies that
mhm.
I don't feel, good about. But I think it's just too raw of a movie. I don't think it's gonna be a Best Picture. I think it's too much. I don't think it'll be Best Picture. I think it should win Best Screenplay though. That's a good screenplay because it's written really good.
What were the nominations? Do you know?
Yeah. I have them here. For Best Picture, they overdo it. They do 10 nominations
Hmm.
because many years ago they complained, so they made it 10, and now it's too many. Uh, these are the nominees for Best Picture. I know The Substance is nominated. I have a feeling it's going to be that movie, The Brutalist. It's nominated for everything. Everyone.
What is the substance nominated for?
Get me a new phone. You need to trade in that old busted up phone. You can get you a brand new iPhone 16 Pro.
Making
T-Mobile
commercials,
phone
bro.
there. At T-Mobile, it's better over here. Family.
Hey man,
Hold on, Snoop. I hear Snoop talking there. Hold on.
we're gonna get flagged for Snoop Dogg in the background.
No, it was an ad. Everybody list. But screenplay, I think it definitely has a shot of winning best screenplay. And Demi Moore has a shot too. That scene where she's late for the date was good.
Oh yeah, yeah. That
I like how they
that-
edited it where
that
she's
hanging
looking.
there.
She's looking, she has 30 minutes, then 15 minutes.
So she's nominated for Best Actress.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a feeling.
She's nominated for best lead, like best actress, not supporting, best actress.
I have a feeling she will get it, and that will be their big get because you know how they are. It's her big comeback.
Yes.
She's
It's a
like
comeback.
old school
She's
loyalty for
known.
them. I feel like maybe that's their best shot to get something. We'll see. I don't know who's up against her. If it's a lot of younger actresses, I think Demi Moore is gonna get it.
Here is Best Picture, a movie called Anora,
Okay.
The
I
Brutalist,
I know
The
what I've
Brutalist,
seen that.
The Brutalist.
Mhm.
That won a bunch in the Golden Globes last week. A
Mhm.
Complete Unknown, that's the Bob Dylan movie. I don't think that's gonna win, but I haven't seen it.
No.
Conclave, it's about the Pope, the picking the Pope.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No.
Dune Part Two, I don't think that's gonna win Best Picture.
Mm-mm.
A movie called Emilia Perez, don't know anything about it. I'm Still Here, don't know anything about it. The Nickel Boys, don't know anything about it. The Substance and Wicked. Everyone loves Wicked, but I don't think it's gonna win Best Picture. I have a feeling it's gonna go with. I have a feeling it's gonna be that Brutalist movie. It got that shit got almost every Oscar in the Golden Globes.
They usually give it to some random film like that. Wicked
Yeah,
is a two-parter. If they
yeah,
really feel like it, they'll probably give it to it when part two comes out next year.
yeah. If it was
Uh,
to get it, it would be maybe part two, but I don't think Wicked's gonna get it, even though that's the popular movie.
yeah.
You know, but
Watch. I
actress,
have a feeling
actress.
Demi Moore will get it for actress.
Now, this is when it comes to actress, Demi Moore should get it. I mean, I haven't seen the other ones, but Demi Moore is highly likely. The other big thing is what's her face from Wicked is nominated too, Cynthia Erivo. And everyone's on her shit right now. If it was Ariana Grande, I would say no, but I don't know.
No, I
I don't
think,
know.
like I said, she's on a two-parter. She could still get it next year for the
That's true.
same role.
So it's Cynthia Erivo, Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez, Mickey Madison for Anora, Demi Moore Substance, and Fernanda Torres. I'm Still Here. All unknowns basically except Demi Moore and the Broadway lady Cynthia Erivo.
Okay.
It
Okay.
supporting role, whatever. That's Ariana Grande's supporting role, but I
No,
feel
I think okay.
Saldana is gonna win.
All right,
That's
that's
it.
it. Let's just start wrapping it up.
It was really good. It was really great. I was not bored at all. I actually wanted to keep going. I wanted more.
Yeah. No, I think it's perfect that it just ended as crazy as it was. It had an even crazier ending, and that's it. It was over. It was almost like I said, it was almost like a prolonged Tales from the Crypt episode.
Can you
Um,
imagine? Can you imagine like this concept as a like a really good TV show, like on HBO, where one week you're Sue, then the next week you're her, and then you can just build on all the different shit that they have to go through. But I don't know how long could that show last? Probably one season.
I mean, they can hop around to different characters, not just one.
Exactly. You can meet 502, 501, 500.
I
I
mean, that would
thought
be good, not as a prolonged TV show, but as a mini series of
miniseries.
like maybe 10 episodes.
Yeah. Oh, another quick thing that we skipped really quick. The young attractive assistant to the doctor, she bumps into him later on. She recognizes him with the birthmark, and he's an old man at the diner.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You get the impression that he's been doing it for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like they can smell their own, and they probably all go to the diner after they pick up the pills. E.T. No. You guys going out? You guys are going out somewhere?
To get my dad.
Okay. Hey, love you. You okay? Almost like, the diner is probably where he goes after he gets his refill pack too.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
you can explore more with other people and other stories. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Exactly.
you can have so much stuff with the man on the phone and the organization. Yeah. But then it's gonna get the more you know, the less
You
interesting
can't
it
you
is,
can't
like
prolong
Hostel.
something like this too long. Yeah. If you did, like I said, it'd be like a 10, 15 episode miniseries and then just end it like that. But I think overall it was perfect as it was. I wouldn't have made it any longer. And I don't think it was necessary to make it any shorter either. To start the year, watching these two, actually to close out the year for the new year for me to review it, I think these two films I've watched back to back are a good start. The Substance was kind of like a dark horse for me because I wasn't sure how that was going to play out, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to enjoy it, and
Yeah,
I knew I was going to like it. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
it was
I'm glad
good.
I sent you the text. Usually it goes, we're iffy, but we started off well.
Yes. So many times movies like this have a really good trailer and idea, but the movie fails.
Yeah.
This movie
Yep.
was actually better than the trailer. There was more stuff going on that I anticipated, and I appreciate it. So
And I'm looking
definitely
forward to see
I
what
would give it you know, like a recommendation, whatever you would
for
say.
sure.
Definitely go see it. Depending your style of movie, I wouldn't recommend this to like my grandmother, but you know your audience.
Also, like
But if you like
looking,
a fucked up movie with a kind of a like it has a blatant lesson in it, but it's done well, that it's like a big fuck you, you know?
yeah. It's kind of a fuck you to Hollywood too, so it's
Oh yeah.
pretty interesting to watch. But it's I'm looking forward to see what the hell this director has going on next. So
Yes.
it's got my
I'm
attention,
looking forward
definitely.
to and if she wins, if this movie wins any awards, I'm pretty sure she's gonna have her opportunities opened up.
Oh God, she probably has. She's gonna have those
Oh yeah,
opportunities anyways already.
already. She's probably already
Yeah,
finished another movie. And the
good for
one
her.
major lesson is the guy on the phone tells him multiple times, "Do you want to stop?" All you need to do
Yeah,
is stop. They just can't
yep.
stop.
They can't stop.
All
It's
you have to
human
do is stop.
nature, greed, more, more, more. Nothing's ever good enough. She's literally loaded and lives in a penthouse to begin with, and they still want more. They want to. Nothing is ever good enough. Youth is always. It's like when you can't stay young forever. We're all mortal, you know.
Unfortunately, yeah. If we could, the
So,
whole world would be different if you could stop aging. It changed the world.
yep.
So
So,
it's it.
The Substance, highly recommended by the Creatures of the Night.
Yes.
If it's your type of thing, everything we talked about, there's no reason for you not to go catch this flick to start the year off right, man. It was fantastic.
Great. Just warning, a lot of nudity and a lot of blood. So just make sure whoever's watching it with you can handle it.
No, yeah, oh, for sure. You can't be squeamish. No, the body horror stuff. If that is a trigger for you, then this is not the film for you. If you can sit through The Fly, the '80s Fly, you can sit through this. If you can't, then do not watch this film.
Yeah.
So
agree.
that's it. Thank you for sitting through one of our rambling sessions here. Follow us on X at the Creatures of the Night, Instagram at the Creatures of the Night, and of course here on the good old YouTubes. Give it a thumbs up and all that good stuff. Until next time.
Until next time, everyone. See you soon.